Hello, fellow Australians and parliamentarians. It's Rich, actually Dr. Rich, Dr. Rich Mclean, Dr. Dick, I like to say. This is Crystal, my dog. Crystal, can you say, I love you? I love you. Crystal, I love you. And we're doing this video message today as a methodology for an unthinkable reason that you couldn't intervene in a particularly troublesome situation I find myself in, and this is my honest story. Please listen. Thank you. I wish to say that I'm trans-financial. That means I'm a multimillionaire living a homeless person's life. Please hear my story. Thank you. I just wish to say that as a parliamentarian or of public office or a PSA, you're regarded as a public official, and you're bound by the obligations of the Charter. You're bound by obligations, and one of those is to obey and not act outside the Charter of Human Rights for people with disabilities. Under that, you cannot deny or, via omission, whether it's just ignoring it or passing it on, conspire to silence someone. Because if I was to prove this in the Federal Circuit Court, that would be all I need, and I've already got that. So I'd really appreciate you paying attention to this, and because otherwise, when I send it to all parliamentarians and it universally is ignored, that would easily constitute a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which I believe's already occurred and which I was incarcerated for, and I've proved beyond reasonable doubt. Thank you. I want to go on a little bit. I'm a neurodiverse person. I'm a hard work, I know. I'm very sorry. It's hard to understand uniqueness, and my family's had a terrible time trying to understand it. And I've had lots of psychiatric labels categorised to me from many psychiatrists over the years. And I've actually suicided in the public hospital, which the government then condoned as okay. Therefore, that was in February 2021, and as a result, sorry if I jump around a lot, I have, I think, an acquired brain injury. My memory is very troublesome, and that injury in the hospital was self-induced, but it was from systemic government oppression, and the Freedom of Information from the hospital labelled it or spoke of it in the notes as a fatal injury and a lethal attempt. Since that time, I've not even seen a psychologist. I can't feel my feet. And I've been heinously character assassinated. And I'll explain that in a minute. And I've also am the Jungian archetypal scapegoat of society. And I'm kind of an infamous political prisoner and vagrant, because at the moment I have no food. I haven't paid rent for 4 months. I can't get medication or medical care. I have not enough to financially exist. So in actual fact, for a whole year, since March 2021, since the suicide attempt, I was put on job seeker when I was already on sick leave. That was horrible, and I got it onto the disability pension. And look, I've lived on $22,000 for an entire year, and $18,500 of that has gone on rent, leaving me with about probably $50 a week to exist. Even like fatally injuring myself in a hospital, from I think which was government oppression, and it's melded in with my own issues. This oppression has lasted very many years out of the stigma, prejudice, and misunderstanding of a unique person with otherworldly views and experiences. I've been really exploited, which is against the Charter of Human Rights of people with a disability. I've been discriminated against, even from the Victorian Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission, who discriminate against me complaining about discrimination. So, and that goes the same with the Australian Human Rights Centre. I'll go on that with a minute. I've character assassinated. I think I've been left to die. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you financially attack someone via systemic government organisations via proxy, and in an intelligently designed and articulate way, which is systemic across the board from local, state, and federal governments, and it goes right to the top to even my coffee guy, who I get coffee off in the morning. That clearly has to be a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. And as someone who's lived in abject poverty, or not even enough to exist for an entire year, but has been fighting valiantly for his own worth and human dignity, I consider that I've been tortured by the government. And it's a horrible place to be, but I'm wealthy in many ways, and I just want to turn this into something good. And please hear the rest of it. Hello again. I wish to say right up the front that I'm not suicidal. They keep locking me up though. I just want to say I can't report to police. I can't report a crime, whether it be tax evasion, drug trafficking, rape, fraud, conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, my mobile phone being stolen, literally anything. I've had to reverse engineer this up from the bottom, and I've been to IBAC, and I'm a failed whistleblower at IBAC. I'm a failed whistleblower at ASIC and APRA, and also the Commonwealth Ombudsman. And additionally to that, in the last 30 years, I haven't been able to get one non-prejudiced lawyer. This is a financial inconsistency and contrast which takes advantage of marginalised people who have no money. There should be ways for me to get a lawyer. However, as someone who has been so catastrophically character assassinated as me, I cannot get help anywhere. Look, I believe I've suffered extreme detriment over the years. And I can prove that because I get paranoid and forgetful, and I started to record things. That's all on my website, killhim.info. Now, the detriment is in the millions of dollars. I've asked the CDD scheme for the police to intervene. They rejected it. I've begged MP Birmingham, the finance minister, for an acknowledgement of my suffering and the exceptional circumstances, but he systemically ignores me, which is also a little bit of, the shard of the mirror of the conspiracy to pervert the laws of justice, and he condones my vagrancy. Now, if I have no food and no medication and no care, and I'm character assassinated, and I'm squatting, which I am, and there's nothing much left for me to do than trying to make some forgiveness and atone these things and ask for help. He's categorically denied that help. And I wish to say that I tried to get my freedom of information from the Prime Minister and Cabinet, because formerly I was a public speaker and, well, I was a kind of revered human rights awarded autobiographer in a prior life, and I had a public profile, and I worked at the Herald Sun and the Age, both for which I lost my job out of detriment and persecution and prejudice. But the Prime Minister of Office and Cabinet, along with the OAIC, has denied my freedom of information, and I thought that might unpick why this is happening to me and why no one can help. Now, bound by the Charter of Human Rights of people with a disability, of which I identify, and lots of psychiatrists will tell you, but also the fact that it's never been acknowledged in an entire year that I was found unresponsive with no blood and no observable pulse, and that it was, quote, a fatal injury and a lethal attempt. Now, to this day, a year and a bit, I can't feel my feet, and I've lived in poverty. I know it's done something to my head. I'm not the same person. And I'm hoping for an intervention to this situation. I also wish to say that I categorically cannot get a lawyer anywhere. I have tried. That is outside of the contraventions of the human rights of people with a disability that the government ratified in 2008. I cannot get my invoices paid from the NDIS or A, and I wrote to Minister MP Reynolds, the NDIS minister, explicitly asking her to explain why this is happening to me, why 47 invoices haven't been paid, which would have provided me financial relief. But as we know, I've been systemically exploited and attacked via proxy of government agencies. And she wrote back to me via someone with no name and by proxy that she would send me to the homeless shelter. And now I've already been to the homeless shelter and they rejected me. So, so an MP Birmingham, he doesn't listen to it either. I have not literally got a local area coordinator, as the NDIS-A usually have. And in addition, I've got some very severe problems with institutions and statutory organisations like the Australian Human Rights Centre, Comcare, APRA, ASIC, the Commonwealth Ombudsman, and AFCA. They all fall under the portfolio of the Attorney General, Mclean. I have suffered millions of dollars in detriment, and I wrote to Mclean for the following reason. My work cover case is before the AAT after Comcare denied it. Now, as a marginalised person, and a person with disability, I should have access to the law. This is not possible for me. What's happening is it's probably maybe a TPD or even just work cover. I mean, I'm deserving of it. It's legal. It's a fitting thing. What the delay, defer, deny response is doing is I've pointed out to the AAT that the member is not allowed to proceed unless I have equal access to the law. Now, the government, will systemically oppress me so much that I literally was found with no pulse and then covered it up, have now got a 25-year experienced lawyer in order to destroy me, basically. I have predicted to Mclean and pointed it out, the corruption, that I will lose my AAT case and that it's abhorrent. It's corruption, and in an allegorical way, to reduce me from prosperity from every angle is a conspiracy. Mclean, despite being asked directly by me, and I can share the letter, it's all on killhim.info, that I didn't need welfare or a mental health system. I needed a intervention in order to have an equitable and equal chance at this work cover claim. Now, she sent back a letter via a proxy with no name that asked someone to respond on her behalf. So she protects herself a bit. But it said, "I'm sorry to hear about your experience with Comcare. Here's the number for Lifeline or Sane's Helpline." It's funny because the book I wrote years ago was Sane Australia's Book of the Year and got a Human Rights Award. So, and I know Jack Heath, the CEO. So I'm going around in circles, and I'm just going to go on a bit about how this has affected my life and the detriment and what I'm still seeking is detriment and how I'm going to change it around into an amazing thing. Please listen. Hi, I'm back again. I just wanted to say in Chapter 5 of the Disability Discrimination Act, of which I have one, 5.4.2 states permitting an unlawful act. Section 122 provides for liability of persons involved in unlawful acts otherwise than as the principal discriminator as follows. Liability of persons involved with wrongful acts. The person who instructs, induces, aids or permits another person to do an act that is unlawful under Division 1, 2 and 3 of Part 2 is for the purposes of the act taken as also have done the act. I'm afraid I have to fight human-made law with human-made law because I have spirit law. That's my spirit and that's how I go. And I just wanted to state that quickly in another one. Hi, it's me again. I just want to say I totally and utterly feel I've been victimised and exploited. I'm a free man. I know I've been character assassinated with numerous things, but under 5.6 victimisation, Section 42 of the Disability Discrimination Act prohibits victimisation. It's an offence for a person to commit an act of victimisation against another person. The penalty is imprisonment for 6 months. I just wanted to say that I've been victimised in a kind of a very cleverly designed way by so many systemic organisations, and it can't be all bad luck. This is because I've been exploited, I've got a public profile, and I have suffered great stigma, shame, abuse, neglect, and misunderstanding as part of my journey. And I wish to say that the victimisation has been consistent over decades. It's been abhorrent. I've lost jobs, I've lost my mind, I've lost my blood, I've lost money, I've lost my will to live, I've lost friends and family. It's not just about money for me. In actual fact, money means really not much to me. What means a lot to me is that there's equality, equity, and that I can exist freely with freedom from oppression, and also the ability to be like any other democratic citizen of this country and blow the whistle. I'm afraid that hasn't been possible for me. I'm a failed whistleblower at many agencies and the Ombudsman, and I've had to blow it myself. And now I'm being sued by the government, which is kind of funny. But I just want to say that the victimisation has been systemic, it's been elongated, and it's troubled me so much that I've wanted to die. And unfortunately that happened in a public place, and then the government condoned it, and then I've lived in without enough to exist for an entire year. So if that sums up kind of the situation, it's also with an acquired brain injury with no access to litigation and utterly catastrophically scapegoated, you'll know why this video is existing. So I just wanted to say that. Thanks. The next bit's really important. Hi, it's me again. I just wanted to say quickly, under the interpretation of the Disability Services Act 1996, a Commonwealth employee, such as a parliamentarian, or an APS employee, an employee of a body, whether incorporated or not, established for a public purpose by or under the law of the Commonwealth, there are obligations for acting within that Act. And I'm requesting you act within this Act, and that there's an intervention if and I have some solutions for interjecting in my case. I would like to say prefer, but I think the word demand is suitable. That intention from politicians systemically across the Australian Parliament needs to value justice. It cannot further identify me as ill or pathologize me with illness, because that's a political scapegoating game. Now, I've been locked up the first time I was incarcerated because I was distressed that I was framed and that I had to leave work out of an illness, and because it amplified my illness. And going back another 5 years, that my former partner still owed me $500,000 from a relationship in which we're engaged. I have not, in all of that time, been able to engage a lawyer to talk to his lawyer. Now, just going forward a bit, that difficult and it was an unfortunate incident. I innocuously recorded a GP because it was... I talked about suicide a lot because I was sad, my friend had died, I was isolated doing a PhD. The basic gist is malpractice and negligence occurred, and the following organisations silenced and omitted via conspiracy that evidence before a court, which I found out is permissible under the Surveillance Act 1999. That was the police, it was HCC, it was APRA, it was APRA, AHPRA, it was NHP, OPC, and it was the police and the federal police and IBAC and others. And this movement took its toll on me because I didn't ever want anything bad to happen to that doctor. And in fact, I've forgiven him and I've forgiven me. And for my confusions, I forgive myself. And for everyone else's confusions, I forgive them. But it can't be just one single person against the whole world. I think that's really unfair. And I think the slander and libel that go along with that is a terrible way to destroy someone. And I think that it has a lot of cowardice that if you do believe that libel and slander, or the information you get told without literally acknowledging me as a person or knowing who I am and what I stand for, then that's a really cowardly act. People in positions of privilege and comfortable government jobs are usually people who are almost entirely people that are paid by the man to toe the company line. The company line is intelligently design it so rich is bereft of any prosperity. We are going to destroy that man. And that's a horrible place to be. And I was locked up for having delusions of grandeur. I mean, I've delusions of persecution. I actually recorded it, and it's in the public domain. There is no question. This is a cover up, and further, then there's another cover up, and the former partner thing. There's another cover up. I just need my story heard and acknowledged. I want to be heard because as a narcissistic society, it's really attacked me in quite a profound way that's exploited already existing vulnerabilities in society and people, of which I do have too, my prejudices, we all do, that have turned people against me. I've lost a lot of people. It's a sad, lonely life. I got my dog. But please hear the rest of this story because it's really important, and I think I'm going to be able to turn it into something really good. Article 13 of that says I must have access to justice. Unfortunately, the justice is cooked, as the evidence goes to show. State parties, the government, federal governments, organisations, statutory authorities, shall ensure effective access to justice for persons with disabilities on an equal basis with others, including through the provision of procedural and age-appropriate accommodations in order to facilitate their effective role as direct and indirect participants, including as witnesses in all legal proceedings, including investigative and other preliminary stages. In order to help ensure effective access to justice for persons with disabilities, state parties shall promote, appropriate training for those working in the field of administrative of justice, including police and prison staff. There is a little story here. I cannot go to police. I am absolutely, catastrophically humiliated, victim blamed as mad, and I have tried my best to report to police in an earnest and honest way, and all I get is some secret document behind the scenes which says, do a welfare check on him, he's crazy. And this to me is really abhorrent. I've got absolutely critical and undeniable evidence on killhim.info, and they refuse to acknowledge it. And I just wanted to say that I have no equity or equality or word or value or worth or voice before the law. And they're public officials, and I've explained to them that on numerous occasions, and they just wash over it. They have an obligation to hear me, and I haven't been heard. I would like to be heard, hence this message today. I'm so sorry I'm preaching to the converted with reading out legal things, but Article 14 says liberty and security of the person. Security, I'm assuming, meaning having your basic needs met. It says here people should have the right to liberty and security and are not deprived of their liberty unlawfully or arbitrarily, and that any deprivation of liberty is in conformity with the law, and the existence of a disability shall in no case justify a deprivation of liberty. It's clearly not the case. It says state parties shall ensure that persons with disabilities are deprived of their liberty through any process they are on an equal basis with others entitled to the guarantees in accordance with international human rights law, and shall be treated in compliance with the objectives and principles of this convention, including by provision of reasonable accommodation. I wish to say my house has black mould, it's got rats, no windows locked, the police kick the door in, now my dog can escape, it has no windows that opens, it's not sufficient, and I don't want much, I don't want anything fancy. I would prefer to have whistleblower protection, because I actually have death threats at the door and at the window, which the police won't do anything about. And also my computer's hacked, I have evidence of that. And also my business was ruined, which I have evidence of that. But the OAIC and the Federal Crimes Minister and the Federal Police are covering that one up. So having a 20-year labour of love destroyed maliciously and with intention because you are being conspiratorial, like that doesn't exist. Just that I haven't got security or my needs met. It's a basic human right. And look, I'm not ranting and raving about it. I may be a difficult person. I don't know. I apologise. But I deserve to feel safe, and I deserve freedom from knowing where I am, and I deserve whistleblower protection so that I can, if I choose, civilly litigate against people if I had access to the law, and also be free from persecution. It's quite simple. Please offer me whistleblower protection, because I'm unsafe with death threats. I don't have a home. I'm victimised and I'm exploited. I'm humiliated, and I am treated with zero human value and no worth. And I'm systemically oppressed and denied prosperity from so many aspects of government. It'd make your hair curl if I had hair. Just want to try and wrap it up really quickly now. Again, it's Dr. Rich of squatting infamous vagrancy and Crystal the dog in Footscray. I am a political prisoner and a scapegoat. I'm the centre of a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. Its foundation is in the federal government, fuelled by stigma and prejudice, and protecting not only, say, pedophiles and people of power, privilege, and reputations to protect, but money as well. I need justice, not welfare. I'm quite well. I know what I am. I need my Maslow's hierarchy of needs met. You don't need to assume that I'm having a meltdown when I'm distressed from abject poverty. Please do not incarcerate me again. I tried to change my name to avoid this. They still came. My human worth and dignity has been slaughtered. In actual fact, kind of literally slaughtered. I'm resilient. I'm not suicidal. I enjoy life. I just want to say that the detriment was of the fatality and the brain injury was condoned by the government. MP Birmingham rejects me and the CDD scheme. I haven't even got enough to be connected to the internet sometimes. The internet comes before food because I need to communicate. I don't have enough food. That's been condoned by the Attorney General, Mclean. When it goes that high, you know you're in trouble. I've been condoned by the Federal Health Minister, Greg Hunt, that starving is not a health issue. It's an NDIS one. But they don't pay me, or support me, or actually took into account my brain injury, or validated that I'd actually died. I've never received a reply from the Prime Minister. I just want to say quickly, I've lost millions of dollars in financial detriment and heinous losses in other ways. The Australian Financial Complaints Authority, in congruence with HCF, my insurer, from the top, delayed, deferred, denied, and rejected my claims that were legitimate, legal, and I lost $75,000 at HCF, of which I caught Sheena Jack, the CEO, doctoring documents as fraud. AFCA, Peter Goss and Tim Fisher, I lost $1 to $2+ million there. That is because I threatened to blow the whistle and they blackmailed me to not even contact them, only through someone else. My former partner still owes me about $500,000. He left me homeless with his dying dog. He worked for ASIO and I was on a pension. I shouldn't have gone bankrupt. I needn't have gone bankrupt. It was only for about $37,000. I can't sue the hospital. The CEO, Dave Stevenson, says to me, if you have a problem with the hospital, sue me directly and personally. Now, this is an absurd amount of audacity, because he well knows I can't go to the police, I can't get a lawyer, and I can't be a whistleblower. He is safe as houses. Comcare rejected my work cover appeal. That was via conspiracy. Paul Fowler is the person that rejected me on a technicality of something I don't understand. And I begged WorkSafe to help me with my appeal. They wouldn't. I was going to sue them, but I couldn't because I couldn't get a lawyer. Paul Fowler was the old boss at WorkSafe, and that smells like corruption to me. I've been denied a medical malpractice case and the conspiracy that came with that and was over years. I've been systemically oppressed. That's detriment. I've had not one, but two VOCAT cases, corrupt. One where I saved a man from violently being, thought they were going to kill him. Bad idea. There was 8 of them and 2 of us. I was hospitalised with concussion and broken bones and stitches and stuff. And despite there being video evidence of the police, I couldn't get that from Freedom of Information, and they pinned it on me. The corrupt case of number 2 was a sexual abuse case where I was the child victim. I just wanted an atonement from somewhere that I would be believed, and I did it as part of my PhD study. I named it later in life, and the magistrate told me I was doomed to fail. I wasn't there, they won't provide me evidence, and the lawyer didn't give me an outcome. That's illegal. So I can't get a lawyer. I've been character assassinated. All this is a detriment. My reputation is in ruins. My website, richmclean.com.au, intentionally and maliciously consciously destroyed without warning by Micron 21. And then the OAIC covering it up, cybercrime covering it up, the federal police covering it up. Everyone knows I can't speak, I can't complain, I can't go to a doctor, I can't get a lawyer, and I am financially and heinously, intentionally, consciously desecrated and destroyed. I've suffered an acquired brain injury, I believe. I know, I'm in this brain. That's incredible detriment for someone whose currencies of worth is my ability to think and critically analyse situations. I've had the loss of human dignity and worth. That is incredible detriment. Now, the friends and families being lost, it's a difficult thing. Life, all we're here to do, as Michael Learning says, is to love one another and be happy. I've been troublesome. When you have no food, you get hungry. When your own family won't defend your own death, it hurts you. We hurt each other. People hurt each other. But that loss of family and friends has been more than just coincidence and more than just me being begging people for money. It's been systemic and I think behind the scenes, and I know that I'm under investigation. The acquired brain injury is unimaginable detriment and conspiracy to pervert the course of justice and literally starving. The psychiatrist noted that I was malnourished when I last went to hospital, is an unbelievable amount of detriment. I just want to say quickly, I can't go to police, I can't access litigation, I can't be a whistleblower, and I can't make a public interest disclosure. There is no time to delay, deny, defer. Now, I want to say how I'm going to turn this around. This is what I want to do. Money's never been my currency. I want to just get a simple atonement. I want legal representation with whistleblower status. I want my dignity met. I want my humanity replenished. And I give myself worth every day, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But I have to be systemically protected and treated like that without the universal omissions and denials and delay, defer, deny, which equal a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. All my prosecution needs to do in the High Court is prove that this was widespread and people acted of omission to pervert the course of justice. That's it. I don't know how to take someone to the High Court. I'm stressed enough as it is. What I would like is for the detriment to be acknowledged, and I would like if I get a lump sum or something, or it all gets reversed, I'm going to give most of that money to charity. I need a simple life free from oppression to live with me and my dog and my harem of young bucks that I sometimes have sex with. But look, yeah, that's what I want, and I'm going to give most of it to charity. I'm going to support trans youth. I'm going to support Indigenous. I'm going to act local. Think global, act local, and I'm going to provide support for people in very difficult situations. I want to be the silent manager of a non-for-profit which actually helps people with incredible detriment or unbelievable situations, and that goes to child sexual abuse and violence against women and men and other worthy causes such as that. I don't want a fancy life. I don't want millions of dollars. The millions of dollars are owed to me, but if that doesn't happen, you could at least acknowledge the dignity of having legal representation. Additionally, the other solution is you simply immediately grant me whistleblower protection and you just give me like a month's salary a month for an average single person to live in a house. That's all I want until you work out the detriment. Can you please intervene? Because at the moment I haven't got medication, I haven't got food, I'm months behind in rent, I've lived in poverty, I've literally been killed and then been covered up. Please help me. It's Dr. Rich Mclean. I'm a good bloke. I tell a mean dad joke. I'm kooky, I'm clever, I'm very forgetful now, and I need to feel worth, and I deserve. Anyone with sentience deserves worth, and I believe that I'm going to be framed somehow for a crime I didn't do, because the powers that be know how powerful I am, and they would, as really has happened, they would rather do away with me than have to accept liability for that. I'm not asking the government to accept liability for what's happened. I'm asking for an atonement, and I'm going to turn around by living a simple life, being acknowledged, disappear in society, change my name, live with my dog, have sex every now and again, have a few beers, and I'm going to give this money to worthy charities. And please, if you're a member of the public and this message doesn't get through to parliamentarians, please go to killhim.info where you can see all the information and the evidence you'll need to ever know that this has ever happened. And you can support me. And when I do get justice after I take it to the Supreme Court, I will not only pay you back, but more, and I'll donate to a charity of your choice. Please support me. Please have some compassion, some dignity in your role as a public official that is bound by obligation of human rights law. Please hear my story. Thank you for listening. It's Rich, Mclean and Crystal. Crystal! Oh, she's asleep. Okay, it's Dr. Rich signing off. Thank you for listening. Okay, have a good day. Bye.